Happy time zone, everybody, and welcome back to Watching Now, where we are currently discussing Season 3 of Star Trek Strange New Worlds. 3, not 6, 3. Today we will be chatting about Episode 6! Oh, here we wait! That was so bad. Episode 6, The Sehlat Who Ate Its Tail. My name is Michelle. You see me? You love me? We'll be hosting again today, and with me I have the Wonder Twins, Tim and Drew. How are we doing, Drew?
I'm just wondering which twin I am.
The more distinguished, beautiful one.
Yeah. I was just thinking we look the same with the glasses, so we are twins. Or the ambiguously gay duo, one or the other. I'm not sure.
Or all of the above.
Gary?
Totally.
And Jerry, Drew, Gary, and Jerry.
Oh man, I'm gonna sit down in the captain's chair and rock this episode out, but fuck it up along the way. Let's do this.
How are you doing today, Tim?
Well, clearly not as good as Drew, but I'm good. It's a Friday afternoon, and
Tis.
I'm glad to be in air conditioning because it's hot as balls outside.
It is.
Yeah.
It was also that. As always, I want to make it clear that there will be spoilers moving forward, so if you would like to watch the episode without knowing anything, please stop watching this. Otherwise, we're going to go boldly on into our initial reactions. Of episode 6. Tim, what did you think?
Actually, I really enjoyed this episode. It has drama, it has action, it has sincerity of character, and I think for me that's and as we've discussed before, I'm not the biggest James T. Kirk fan, but I do like how they're presenting him in this episode. We can get into that more later, but I like how they're presenting him and the character growth that you see even inside of this episode. And I know that we have some discussion that we're going to have about Pike later as well. And I do like how they're using Pike in this particular episode. But we can talk about that a bit later.
That's interesting. Okay. What about you, Drew? What'd you think of this episode?
Yeah, I'm in line with Tim here. This is 2 good episodes in a row for me, and I feel like this is the turning point. Like, I feel like we've turned the corner. We had kind of a rocky start to season 3, and I feel like we're kind of in. They got the bad shit out of the way first, and then here we are. We're finally, like, I feel like in the stride, and this felt like a classic Trek. Had a lot of some classic Trek tropes, but with new takes in a way, which I'm kind of here for. A lot to kind of chew on. Definitely teasing. I feel like it was interesting where we are. They were teasing the Kirk taking the chair, seeing his first moments in the chair. Interesting stuff and how he dealt with that. Not much other than talking spoilers, but I thought it was a high-stakes story. I thought there were some really cool thrills and some emotional moments, and pretty good writing overall. I thought there wasn't, and here's what I am glad. I'm glad there was one moment where I was like, oh shit, it's gonna go off the rails. Is when Lalonde walks in, standing next to Kirk, who's her new fuck buddy, and or not Kirk or Spock. And she has that look at Kirk, and I'm like, here we go again, love triangle, continue it going, right? Like, yeah, but they just ignored that the rest of the episode. I was like, okay, cool. We had the weird look, like I wonder if he knows. Does they recognize? And then it was all. I was like, thank God we didn't get into let's talk about our feelings and what do you think about Kirk? I don't know. I was like, oh God, but they skirted right by that, and we got into the good stuff. So thankful.
Honestly, I thought the same thing when they said hi to each other. I'm like, oh, I was waiting for it to flash up on the screen. The rest of this Star Trek episode has been brought to you by CW's Arrowverse. So,
yeah. Yes. For me, I'm fully in. I got my Enterprise back on. I got green for go. This episode was phenomenal. And, well, for me, it was one good episode, not the 2 in a row. But you made a good point of for me, it was because the drama was such an undertone. It was the adventure and the science of everything took precedence. And to me, that was the difference. That was the switch flip that needed to happen. So you touched on it already about seeing the Captain Kirk kind of teasing around getting in the chair. So what did you think of this sort of prequel story of Captain Kirk getting in the chair, Drew?
It was good. I'm mixed. I'm mixed on Kirk. Like, there's moments when I really like this Kirk, and there's moments where I'm like, you're kind of not like.
I agree with that.
I'm mixed. I don't know if he's figured it out yet, or if he's still trying things. I don't know. Like, and I don't know if I'm just too tainted from still being alive when Kirk was, the Kirk on TOS and then the movie Kirk, right? Like, I don't know if that's still so just too vivid for me. I still watch those movies yearly, right? Like, that the movies are like from Wrath of Khan on is like a rewatch in our house always. So, yeah, and also I'm still mixed on Scotty too. Like there's some mixed things going on here, but I still enjoyed the concept of it. Like the concept of like we're getting to see a moment of Kirk the first time Kirk has dealt with a crisis in the captain's chair. That's not an alternate reality Q thing or something, like. So I like that it feels canon-y, that we can kind of move on. He's on the Farragut. We're seeing a little bit of that and how he was dealing with being a first officer and taking and then the moments of taking command and how he was dealing with that stress. It was interesting.
Well, that's why I liked it the most, actually, before I get to your answer, Tim, is because we got to see a lot of the decisions that he isn't sure how to make yet being made, or it was kind of a grooming scenario to get him to where he's supposed to be when TOS starts, I guess. And I kind of enjoyed the little view into the past like that for him. Tim, what did you think about it?
I think we're all pretty much on the same page as far as that's concerned. I do like the fact that we got to see him kind of being, at moments, the brash Kirk that we're used to seeing in TOS. Yeah. But there was also the moments when there was the lack of confidence because of lack of experience, and where he's like, I need to clear my head, and he just like storms off, kind of like almost like a petulant child, just kind of storms off, But I also like the fact that I can't remember is it Paul Wesley is the name of the actor, right?
Yes.
Who's playing Kirk?
Yes.
I think that's correct. I do like the fact that he is, and I don't know if they're doing this like consciously, or maybe I'm just picking up on this, or what it is. But every once in a while, you'll see him when he's talking, do the Kirk pause when he talks. Yeah. And I don't know if that's like a conscious thing that like they're like, hey, Paul, when you do this line, make sure that you say it this way so that we can show that he's transitioning towards being the Kirk that we all know. But he did that a couple times in this episode. For the most part, he's talking normal and then every once in a while he's like, Spock, what do you think? It's just but yeah, I like what we're seeing out of him in the fact that we're seeing him with this amount of growth. It actually makes me kind of like the character, because when you see him in TOS, it's just he's just 1,000% balls out. I'm Captain Kirk, and we're doing this. I like the fact that he has to grow from this position of this is my first time in the chair. He's scared crapless. You can tell at a couple different points, and I like that we're seeing not just him growing, but the relationship between the classic characters growing. So that there's. So that by the time we get to the TOS timeline, there's already a cemented friendship and everything else going there. So I think that's good.
Did you do that segue on purpose for me? Segue? Did you?
No, actually, I don't even have my notes open. So.
Oh, perfect! Because my next question was going to be about.
Look at me go.
Enjoying the Spock and Kirk conversation. I'd like to continue with you, Tim. I like your train of thought right now. But with the formulation of the friendships coming for TOS, did you like the Spock and Kirk conversation from this specific episode?
Yeah, because you have. We're talking about two different people with very different viewpoints of how to handle things. Kirk is trying to, he at his heart, he's rash, a little brash, and he wants to just charge headlong into things. And I think that's why, with the existing captain of the Farragut, whose name I can't remember all of a sudden,
Varel or Lavelle.
Varel, yeah,
Varel, yeah.
who's also a Vulcan.
Mm-hmm.
There's I think that's why he's clashing with her, is because he's not on that wavelength yet of how to handle or how to deal with the Vulcan mindset of being pragmatic and being practical, and so I think when when Kirk storms off and they're all talking about how they're going to deal with this, Spock's like, well, we need somebody who's emotionally detached, and they're all like, that's you, pal.
Yeah. Nose goes, cool, that's you.
yeah. Oh, look, it's me. Okay, I get to go.
Yeah.
And so I do like that, because Spock shows the humanity of his half-human side. It kind of comes through, and the conversation from them isn't just, hey, you're in charge and this is what you have to do. And I like that he gives them the anecdote about the Sehlat who ate its tail. Mm-hmm. And that he tries to come down to a level where he and Kirk can coexist, and he can be on the same plane with him and have that conversation. So I think it's a good start to what we see later between these two as far as relationships, friendships are concerned. So I think it's a good thing.
Well, and he was basically nurturing and encouraging him to utilize his human side, which, coming from Spock, is significant because he's constantly being told to ignore that side of him. And he's having to, as a leader, encourage somebody else to grasp it and use it. Drew, what did you think about it? The conversation?
Yeah, it was good. I think the scene right before it, I had a problem with the most. So leading into it, it really bothered me. So I was happy to see some course correction. I liked the fact that he was looking at a 3D chessboard, the famous 3D chessboard from Star Trek, and and kind of telling, getting Spock is sort of like trying to get him to, and he keeps trying to get him to like answer like, what are we going to do next, kind of, Captain, or you need to get back on the bridge and your your people need you. And he's kind of like telling the story about, I wonder what her next move would be. I thought I was boxing Varel in this chess match, and it was kind of interesting because he's sort of trying to solve his own logic problem, right? Of how do I deal with this situation? What would she have done? And Spock is basically saying, no, it's now your time. What are you going to do, right? Mm-hmm. Like, it's not about what is Varel going to do, And I think that's a problem every first officer deals with. They always think about like how, like even Riker was like, what would Picard have done in this situation? And you even see that in Best of Both Worlds. He's like, Picard's not in the, because a lot of people are like, Picard would have never done, and he's like, we're going to blow the shit out of this Borg cube. You know what I'm saying? Like, most people would be like, holy shit, Riker's a fucking badass, right? Right. Riker's like we're going to get these bastards, and Picard more diplomatic, so
and then more
it's always
green women.
Yeah, exactly. So it's cool to see that realization kind of come out, and Spock bring that realization out through a little bit of prodding. It was good. I think I just had so much problems with the scene before it that I was trying to still like be like, why is this dynamic not working with Scotty and the crew, and why are they so anti-Kirk? Right, like everybody was sort of like anti like this bravado or like what he was trying to do, and even though it was, I don't know.
Well, with the weight of what Nurse Chapel said is like, I could evaluate him and take him out of command. Like, that was such a heavy statement, and then they're just trying to keep things plugging along, and Uhura's like, no, I believe in him, and blah blah blah. So I'm with you where that scene kind of threw it off, and it threw it off, but it also gave you like the weight of the situation. So Spock had to go in and kind of be like, wow, let's think about this. Go ahead, Tim.
I think that scene added context to what was going on, though. I really do, because so you have Scotty, who's unsure himself. he hasn't found his own bearing yet, and he's not the Scotty that we see in TOS. He's a shell of that person right now. He doesn't have faith in himself. He doesn't have faith in his abilities, his knowledge, his capabilities, and he is a little combative.
And I think that's the part that rubs me. Like, I don't mind that he's unsure with himself. Sorry to cut you off, but I just
no, you're good.
I feel like I keep going back to kind of like, even though Starfleet is not a military organization, it's still structured like one. And when Scotty's just and when Scotty's completely just dismissing everything that Kirk is bringing up, and he's saying like, they're all bad. Like, what are we gonna do? Like, this is, he's kind of like, he just sounds like a whiny little like cadet, right? Like, it sounds like he's like Wesley on TNG, where I'm like, oh my god, like if this, right? You're like, move him aside. Can we get an adult on the ship that isn't going to lose his fucking shit? You know what I'm saying? And in a situation like this, like, I was like, I kind of wanted Kirk to like Scotty, just do what the fuck I say, like, right. and stop like the back talk. I don't need the back talk, buddy. Like, I don't know. I was a little over it.
See, but I looked at it differently. I looked at it with, that we're seeing Scotty with somebody, like I said, somebody who has zero faith in his own knowledge and abilities at this point, and he's scared out of his mind. He thinks that they're sitting ducks. He saw what happened to the Enterprise, and he's afraid that that's going to happen to them. So I think he's acting and reacting out of fear, and so even in a military or paramilitary setting, you're going to have the your fight or flight is going to be tested in a situation like that. And I think that that's what's happening with Scotty, is that fight or flight is hitting, and he wants flight. He wants flight real bad. And the way that he's talking, and even, when the discussion about removing Kirk from the chair comes up, he's like, well, how are we going to do that? He's the first to jump on that. He's like, yeah, let's make that happen. Yeah. And I think that has more to do with his lack of faith in everything that's happening right there.
It's a great point. I think, and I completely agree with you. I just wish someone would put a pin in that, in the sense that someone should bring up Scotty, like, I hear you now, like, let's calm down, now's not the time. I don't know, like, I just feel like they let him, like, the allowance of him to kind of bring that kind of attitude, or what's the dissension of, like, his tone, right? The condescension, yeah, like, it just felt like that would not fly, right? Like, I just, like, if that was Avery Brooks, if that was Cisco, he'd, like, that guy would be punched. Like, punched exactly. And then put in an airlock, maybe. I don't know. Like, I'm just like, come on. Like, I was a little just taken aback by that. I'm not used to seeing that, I guess, from Star Trek officers, right? Sure. Especially if you're enlisted out of Academy. Like, if the show was called Starfleet Academy and a character was acting like that, I would probably be okay with that, right? They're just not.
That's fair.
Been trained, but like, I'm like, oh my god, and I'm like, it sucks because in some of the moments of the episode, Scotty's being really brilliant, like his brilliant Scotty self, and solving problems and coming up with really cool solutions, and that's what I want to see. I guess I want to see more of Scotty being like the hero.
But I don't think we're going to see that till Pelio's gone.
He needs to be a little bit more collaborative. Right now, he's not very collaborative.
Yeah. And just for clarity's sake, I wasn't laughing at anything that Drew said, because all of a sudden I had this scene pop in my head, like all the members that were on the on the deck there,
the Farragut
of the Farragut, line up like the movie Airplane and start smacking him. Trying to calm him down.
Yes.
And all of a sudden that flashed up in my brain. I'm like, that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, it did catch me off guard just how, excuse me, how for everybody was to like take him out if he needed to be taken out. Like, that was such a poignant discussion so quickly, and I was like, what? Let this guy figure his shit out. Hold on a second.
Well, I guess my issue too, it wasn't like he was the one who's coming up with bad plans necessarily. He just pushed everyone to kind of move faster than they would recommend, right? Like, it wasn't like they all were like, oh my god, going to save the Enterprise is a bad idea or anything like that. It wasn't like, I'm on a suicide mission. every option that, like, Spock was like, well, our option is this, and Scotty's like, well, our other option is this, and they were both bad options, right? And they both all recognized that they were bad options, and then they're like, well, we should get rid of this guy because I have a better idea. Like,
Exactly.
I was just, it wasn't like someone was like, no, we have to do this. They were floating dead, and no one had a good opportunity. Like, get in a shuttle, like,
what are we gonna do?
I don't know. I was a little. Listen, I don't want to taint. Like, I know we've been on this for a long. This is a minor nitpick on a overall pretty fucking good episode.
Totally.
So,
Yeah.
But it's also, it's a nitpick for this episode, but it's also part of this person's character arc and what we're seeing for Scotty. And this is something that's happened in multiple episodes, though. If you go back and you watch other episodes, whenever he's forced into doing something, he's got something that he fires back. And until I think that we're going to see, like I said earlier, I think we're going to see this level of this Scotty until Paley is gone, until she is out of the picture and he is the chief officer, maintenance officer, whatever they're called. I can't remember.
Engineer.
Chief engineer.
He's the chief maintenance. He's the janitor.
Yeah. He might be after next week. After this week, I would be.
Go see Bob in maintenance. He'll take care of you.
You're on latrine duty, buddy.
But I think until that happens, we're going to see. I think it's his own lack of self-awareness, his own lack of self-esteem and self-control that we're seeing come bubbling out in these circumstances, because this is a repeated thing. This isn't just in this episode. This has happened multiple times. So I think moving forward, we're going to see this a couple more times, I think, until they get him to a point, whatever episode it is, where he breaks the hump and goes, I can do this. We're going to have this.
Yeah, that I'd like to know what that hump is going to be, though. What's the obstacle that's going to be in front of him that causes him to get there? Like this,
Hopefully
this one was a good
3,
one.
episode 7.
Right. Like this was a good one for Captain Kirk getting to Captain Kirk-ish. So we don't necessarily need a full episode on Scotty getting a Scotty groove, but he still needs to have something.
How Scotty got his groove back. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
He found whiskey.
He did do that. All right, we're going to switch gears a little bit from Captain Kirk to Captain Pike and his useless ass this episode. He's actually been pretty useless the last couple episodes. But Tim, you mentioned something about Captain Pike in your intro, so I would like to know what your thoughts on his uselessness this episode was.
Okay, so yeah, 95% of this episode is Pikeless. And because we see him in the hallways and we see him talking with Kirk, and that's really all we see of him. But the hallway episodes aren't as necessary. That was just to give Anson Mount some screen time. I'm pretty positive about that. Because that could have been anybody. It didn't have to be Captain Pike,
Correct.
But it was. But what I think is the most important, and if you watched the recap of previously on Star Trek, if you watch that little bit, you see Pike getting some pretty important advice and counsel about the health and safety of his crew and taking care of people and the decisions that he makes. And that same advice, not verbatim, is given to Kirk at the end of the episode. And so what we're seeing, the importance of Pike in this episode is not what decisions did he make, how did he take care of the Enterprise, how did he take care of his crew, but what type of mentor could he be? And
his maintenance
we see
of his crew.
Yeah, and telling and really just reinforcing to Kirk that, yeah, as captain, you're going to make some craptastic decisions, and you have to live with those decisions, and you're going to have to carry those things out, and people can and will die because of the decisions that you make. So
lots of red shirts are going to die under your command, sir.
Oh yeah, every episode.
Yeah,
so
you're probably going to lose like 3 dudes an episode. Just saying. I mean.
And there's 3.
My death count's at like 10. Yours is going to be at like 90. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah. That's just first season.
Yeah.
But he, to me, the important thing that Pike is doing right now in this part of the season is that we're seeing him play a mentor, and it's part of the paving the way for Kirk to take over the Enterprise, because without the mentorship of Pike in this spot, do we get the same Kirk? Do we get the same Kirk who's willing to make the decisions, roll the dice, and have confidence in his decision making without this experience on the Farragut and what happened, and then the conversations that he has with Pike, subsequently.
Yeah, I mean, that puts a positive spin on it. My 5-year-old boy brain was just like, he didn't do anything except shoot aliens this episode. And he barely did that. And they weren't aliens. Drew, what did you think? Well, so I'd like to actually phrase this question this way to you specifically. Do you think that they are prepping too early for Pike's departure and putting our attention onto the new crew and their dynamics too soon? Because we know there's going to be 5 seasons.
I don't know. I maybe a little bit. I think he does. Kirk does captain the Farragut for a while before
he does.
captains
Yes.
the Enterprise. So, I mean, and Varel still lives. So I don't think she's like giving up her seat, or like I don't think he's promoted tomorrow. But no. I think this was just sort of like, hey, next season maybe he's captain of the Farragut, and there's a crossover with the Farragut, him, and doing something. Okay. I don't know. I think this is like not a bottle episode, but this is sort of like a moment in time, Kirk's first chair crisis, because he's technically he's acting captain. So I don't have a problem with it, and timeline wise, like I don't think that's an issue. But I do like the fact that they're building Pike and Kirk mentorship. I thought that last scene... I
do appreciate that, yeah.
I thought that last scene put a really nice button on the episode. I thought it was really important that they had that conversation. Yeah. It was really... I thought it was really well done. Anson Mount's just a great actor. And he kind of elevates every scene, like those scenes like that, those mentorship type scenes. He's really good at that.
Oh, he's excellent at those. Yeah.
Yeah, and you want to see more of that. So I was excited. It was well done, and I was excited to see it. As far as like the uselessness of Pike, I don't know. I didn't mind it because maybe I'm just sort of like I liked the episode overall. So I really enjoyed that. Like him and God, who was he with? La'an, yeah, sorry. La'an were kind of like in battle mode and trying to like get the umbilical fucking out of there, and I like there was some science thinking there. It wasn't like we're gonna like shoot this umbilical like they would have done in J.J. Abrams' Star Trek. Let's just shoot it and it'll go away, right? Like they were like, hey, we're gonna, we can like poison the well and it'll, that not that that's not been done, but at least there was some science there to like figure it out, and I like that the suits that the enemy was wearing were like had like a capability, kind of like a Borg capability to kind of like absorb energy weapons, and they had to like figure out a way like to like fight to battle someone who phasers aren't effective against. And so like there's strategy there and thinking, and I thought La'an and Kirk worked well as a team there. I didn't mind that. I thought that was all like a really good B plot, even a C plot for me. Like I thought that was pretty good. I don't know.
Well, they're not shooting them in the kneecaps this episode because phasers aren't working.
Shoot him in the kneecap, Michelle's way to go. Maybe put him on stun? I don't know. Yeah. No, kneecap him.
Shoot him in the knees.
Y'all got the arrows?
Yeah. Directly in the kneecap, in the patella. No. So, wow, that was a giant... I'm going to put a buffering thing by my brain. So you were mentioning the umbilical cord. Sorry, my brain was buffering so bad. I'm not even going to edit that.
Loading.
There was
I was thinking of like 8 things at once, and it all just shut my brain down.
Yeah.
So
you need a memory upgrade.
I'm going to get it out. So you were mentioning the umbilical cord. This was super cool. The scavenger ship was amazing, and how everybody was talking how scary it was super cool. The airlock decompress there towards the end is from TNG. It's from the episode Cause and Effect. My Star Trek advisor told me that last night. But I loved it because it took you right back into that TNG episode if you're familiar with it, and it was brilliant. The other thing that was not brilliant was Erica. Her only line in the entire episode was, "Don't crash, Erica." I thought you were good at this. What is happening here?
Yeah. I thought you were good. 20% left. 40, 80, 90, 30, 30. Everyone. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ.
I'll just do the airlock decompress. It'll get us out of here.
Yeah, I know. Even number one's like, no one knows what the fuck you're talking about, because I'm just gonna blow the airlock. I'm like, yeah, Jesus.
I was so goofy, Tim.
Yeah.
I know you stand Ortega's. What did you think?
Actually, she had more than one line. Thank you very much. She also talked about how the Klingons were called the Astrovor the Kachka.
You're
So
right.
you're
Excuse me.
welcome.
Her Klingon knowledge is almost as top tier as her piloting skills.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like piloting skills, Klingon knowledge, right there.
Oof.
You know, when I was studying with the Klingons,
Right.
But yeah, no, I don't know. I don't think that we needed much of Ortega's in this episode because the things that were involved. I trust me. I love Ortega's, and I'll take more Ortega's every time I can. I think she's a really cool character, and I'd like to see her develop more. But in this episode, it wasn't about her, so that we're going to see her less. Like there wasn't a ton of number one in this episode. We didn't see Mbega hardly in this episode.
No,
there was a lot of characters that were underutilized because they didn't need to be, and I think that Ortega's is one of them because we're focusing mostly on what's happening with the Farragut. We're focusing mostly on the development of the core characters, the classic core characters, and the beginnings of their bonding and their relationship through this traumatic event and what's happening here, so that they can learn how to have Uhura be the only one apparently who likes Kirk, and and move forward. Everybody else is like, screw that guy in particular, and I
hope there's like a later episode where Kirk's like, remember that, Scotty? Remember that time you wanted to like cut and run, or you wanted to oust me as captain? Yeah, this is payback. Yeah, I don't know.
But
my thought with that though is when you saw number one, you remember the scenes that she was at. She was a little bit more impactful. Like Ortega's was just kind of a side piece in the scenes. I don't know. Yeah. It started to bug me.
She's the designated driver. She just, she's just there to kind of like fly the ship.
Hot wiring the
He's not
Enterprise.
wrong right now. For this episode, he is not wrong. She was the DD.
And when the ship isn't flying for most of the episode, it's just sitting in like the belly of the beast. There's not a lot of forte. Yeah, she's holding like two wires together. Like I got nothing.
You shouldn't have been able to do that.
Maybe things aren't going good for me. Can't fly. Button no work.
Look.
I'm Ortega's.
Listen,
I will fly the ship eventually.
Exactly. Yeah. When the ship is ready to fly, I will do my flying thing. Yeah, that's what she's good at. Let her
totally
Listen, though.
She just sits back and wait. Yeah, but to be fair, I did like the episode. I felt like this was finally an episode. I feel like everybody had a moment. Like every main character on the show had something to do. Yes. Even Ortega's, right? Like even at the end there, she had a 90-80, and they're doing the joystick thing, and even Mbenga, like they all had a moment of like something. They all had a reason to be. Where like some episodes, they're just not even in the episode, or they're just kind of waiting till the away team comes back up. To like,
right,
oh yeah,
have to go
you're
to
good.
sick bay.
Clean bill of health. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I thought it was like a good ensemble episode. Like it felt like everybody, like it felt like a good Star Trek ensemble.
I agree.
It was cool. I don't know.
So hot wiring the Enterprise to me, super freaking cool. And then you got to see the dynamic of Pelia with number one and Mbenga, which you don't really see very often. That was fun. Her quarters was insane. I'm sorry. Didn't they all just move into the Enterprise at the same time? Like how do her quarters look like that?
Yeah, I want to know what the transporter bill was to beam up all that shit she had.
Right? Sorry, I know she's been alive for like 5,000 years, but that doesn't mean all of her shit's in the Enterprise.
Talk about when you get her, you get a lot of baggage, right? Like, no, literally, nice. Like I have a lot of baggage that comes, not only emotional, but like the amount of shit I have that will come on board with me is incredible.
7 telephones.
Yeah.
Okay. Am I the only one who laughed though when Ortegas did hold up the phone and go, "What is this? A personal massager?"
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that
was
was
like-
funny.
Oh, that kind of. Never mind.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then Mango was like, I'm not even answering that.
Yeah. Yeah. He's like,
I'm
Jesus,
ignoring you.
Ortegas. You're supposed to be
But the-
flying the ship. No.
The amount of
What are you-
science in
like,
this
what are you even
episode-
doing in this room? Why are you not sitting at the? We could be flying any moment.
Yeah. What are you doing? You got
Yeah,
one
you're
job.
supposed to be there to push it. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, the science in this episode was super great. The anti-protons trying to get the scavenger ship to come up, right? And it, to lure them in, and then the umbilical cord, they had to basically throw shit up into it to get it to let go.
Yeah.
That was fun. All of that was super cool and super fun. I enjoy the science aspect of the Star Trek episodes. And that ship was cool. I liked that scavenger
It was like very
ship.
piratey. Yeah, kind of.
Totally.
Looked like
Space pirates.
Looked like a big old turtle.
Kinda. Kinda.
No, it did. It looked like more like a slug, like a space slug thing, with
I mean,
tentacles.
it looked like the
with
turtle
jaws.
from Finding Nemo.
Turtles don't. It didn't look like a shell. It didn't look like a.
No, but his face.
You need to play more Mario Kart.
Maybe.
I've been hit with plenty of red shells in my life. Thank you very much. Green
I
ones,
don't know.
too, and blue.
I liked the mysticism of the scavenger ship. I just liked that entire scenario of like everybody had a story of how terrible it is, and everybody's terrified of it, and then they get swallowed by it. It's like, well, now what do we do?
Yeah. I kind of want to go back real quick to the wiring of the Enterprise.
Yes,
With the
please.
phones. I kept thinking, and I don't know if this is... I haven't read anything on the internet about this yet. This is my own sort of hypothesis here. So maybe other people are talking about this. But in my mind, so the old show, like most of the time when Kirk's like walking through the hallway and they're like, they raise like Captain, the bridge calling, or I forget what the phrase is, but he would always walk to the wall and flip a switch, and he'd be like, Captain here, and he'd always talk to the bridge via like a wall panel, right?
Oh,
he
yes.
never used his communicator. Like
Yeah.
they didn't walk around on board with communicators. They only did that when they were on the surface. Usually when they were communicating on board, it would always be through like a wall panel.
Yes.
And I was thinking, I was like, is this the impetus of that? Like they need to wire the ship in case there's any sort of like wireless communication dampening fields or something like that. Like I was thinking, like, is this the impetus that like causes those wall panels to be installed on the
Interesting.
That's
Enterprise?
a really cool thought.
Yeah, it just got me thinking. I was like, well, because Battlestar Galactica, that's a great show, and a little bit of a callback there. But that whole ship was designed around because Cylons were able to infiltrate computer systems, so the whole ship was analog, right? So like everything was done through telephone lines. So like if you wanted to communicate to the engineering, you fucking had to pick up the phone and like, hey, engineering, right? Like it was all wired that way. And I'm starting to think like, obviously the reason they did it back in the day in the 60s is because they couldn't think that forward advanced that cell phones would be, wireless technology would do something like that. But not but like, because obviously they had the communicator, but like they just figured internal communications on the ship would work more like a submarine, right? Like, and submarines are very much like that too, very analog in case of other reasons, like because you're supposed to be very quiet. I don't know. I'm rambling here, but
And there was something I wanted to bring up that I actually didn't make a note of because I forgot. The music was brilliant, and we know I love the music no matter what. There were teases of Captain Kirk in the original series. There was a Wrath of Khan music cue almost. There were little hints from TNG. Like, the music was brilliant in this episode. I don't know if either of you caught the little cues here and there, but it was really great.
I didn't. I wish I caught the Wrath of Khan.
I don't remember where it is, but I can try to find it. It was in the midst of... Yeah, Jake actually pointed it out, and then I went back and listened to it, and I was like, "Yep."
That's awesome. Yeah, the original TOS theme was pretty apparent.
Every time he got closer to the captain's chair, it seemed to go on just a little bit longer.
Yeah, and that definitely at the end there when Pike calls him Captain Kirk.
I think this episode was the first time we actually heard him called Captain Kirk, and it was by Spock, and I enjoyed it. It actually gave me some goosebumps.
Well, no, I thought... Did Spock never called him Captain, did he?
I thought Spock
didn't never
was the
say Captain Kirk. It was. I thought they.
He said that you are now captain.
Right.
You are.
But at
you
the
are
very
now
end,
captain.
Pike says, it'll be a pleasure to see you grow, Captain.
I'm
Kirk."
pretty sure there's a scene with Spock calling him Captain Kirk, and that was
Okay.
the first time that we heard it, because I remember it was like, "Oop, that was the first time."
Oh, that's
And there
cool.
was even at the very end, it was so powerful, and it got so heavy there at the end when we were discussing where the pirates came from and who they were. Full tears. I just bawled. I even took a picture because I was like, if I have to, I'll just put it up. Full tears. I cried like I haven't cried in a TV show in a very long time. It was so powerful, and it was so quickly powerful that it still stuck with
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. Should we talk about that? Like.
Yeah, so that was a pretty heavy reveal of the pirates of the scavenger ship actually being humans, and they were the last remaining humans on Earth, to their knowledge. It was Earth, right?
Yes.
Well-
Because there was the United States flag there, and they were
Yeah.
up in a spaceship, and
Yeah, after World War III.
Three,
Right.
yeah.
They cobbled together like what's left of like several space programs and built a ship because they didn't think the Earth would be sustainable,
That's right.
and they left.
Explore
right. Like,
new worlds.
right. Thinking, and everyone was like, "This is the best of humanity leaving," kind of vibe.
Yes.
But then the turn is they had to make weird choices to survive and turned into kind of
Became
bad
the
guys,
worst of
really.
humanity.
Yeah. But you saw glimpses because that one soldier decided not to kill Pike when he recognized that they were the same. Yeah. Yeah, it was weird because it was just like, it felt like a long delay, like while it was like cutting back to the, like one of those like movie delays where like the guy's pointing the gun, but in real time, this guy's battling and reaching for the phaser. He's going to shoot him just in time. Like it didn't quite feel like, because you never saw the guy's face, so you don't see the conflict emotion. So Pike had to say he didn't shoot me because he didn't see the
Yeah, I was like,
the
oh,
indecision of the bad guy. Yeah.
But yeah, Tim, what did you think of the reveal being the best
I thought
of
it was-
humanity?
I thought it was kind of trippy. When Pike took the mask off and it was a person, I was totally expecting an alien face underneath. And then for a brief second, my mind through all of that was like, oh, this is how this is going to lead up to the Space Seed episode, season 1 of TOS. But then I was like, no, that doesn't track because they would have to be sleeping and they would all be, because this is there's not that big enough of a gap in the timeline there, right? Between what we're seeing now and where we get to in TOS for the Space Heat episode. And so I was like, oh, for like a hot second, I was like, oh, this is leading up into that. And I was like kind of excited about that because for years, and not for years, but still, my favorite episode of TOS is Space Seed. And subsequently, my favorite Trek movie is Khan.
Right.
And because it's freaking awesome.
And
yeah, it's great.
So for me, I was like, I tuned in, I zoned in real quick. I was like, oh, this is leading up to that. This is going to be great. And then I had that hot moment of, no, that's not what this is. This is just a different group of people who did what they had to do to survive, and then they kind of went off the rails. And it's kind of a callback in my mind to any story where humanity does what they need to do to survive. You look at like Lord of the Flies, things like that, where with this race or this group of people is now in charge and they're trying to do what they need to do, and they go off the rails, right? And they do things that are bad, evil, mean, all these different things because that's what they need to do to keep themselves in power, B, to survive. And I think that's what happened with this group of humans. They started off with the best of intentions. We see them with the, all their smiling faces in their spacesuits, and I want to figure out who each of those people are because it's got to represent something, Yeah,
that's a good idea.
Why? What do you mean?
The actual astronauts?
Oh,
no,
well,
I don't think
it's like future, like World War III. Like we haven't gone through that yet. Like we wouldn't know.
Right.
They're not
right, but
real
there's
people.
right.
Like,
So,
in
but
our
okay,
sense
but
of reality.
But I'm wondering, are those people? Because they're just smiling faces in spacesuit masks.
Yeah.
Okay, so are they cast members? Are they
Oh, I see what you're
screenwriters?
saying.
Are they,
Yeah.
you know, is this
okay.
is this them paying homage to somebody who worked on TOS or worked on TNG and they put their face up on in there, you know, from a staff picture somewhere.
Totally.
You know, just to
like an Easter egg kind of vibe.
Yeah. So I don't think that it's anything past that. But these are just, you know, like 8 or 9 people, however many were on the screen, of people who were supposed to be the best of humanity. But I think it's Easter eggs, and I'd love to know who the Easter eggs are.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. All right, we're going to go ahead and start wrapping up. But instead of our final thoughts, because I'm pretty sure we know where we all stand on this episode, I would like to know, for next episode, do you think it's going to be more love triangle? Or are we actually going to get a space adventure? Drew, you first.
Oh, I hope not. Who fucking know? Let's be honest. It'll be more love triangle because that's, you know, hop an episode, no love triangle, back to love triangle with Spock and Lon and Chappelle and Nurse Chapel and
Dave Chappelle. That's an
Dave Chappelle.
twist.
Yeah, he shows up and he's the new love interest.
He'd whip Scotty up pretty quickly, I think.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah, gosh. I mean, they have to deal with it. So, yeah, it's going to come. It's here. It's probably next episode. You're right.
Okay, let me rephrase this question for you. Do you think that there are going to be repercussions for what happened in this episode?
For who?
From the Federation.
Because why?
Because the Enterprise got damaged, the Farragut got damaged, Captain Kirk had to be acting captain.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. This is one of those like space is hard. You know, like
pat on the shoulder.
Shit happens. You know, like yeah.
It just happened everywhere in this episode.
Got it.
Yeah. No. This is one of those like we towed him back to space dock. We got a flat. This one not a flat. I don't know what happened.
We blew up the other guy. It's fine.
Where are its nacelles? You know, they just fall off sometimes. Who knows?
There was a rusty bolt on nacelle number 4, and we couldn't do anything about it. And
and then they all just left. I don't know. I don't understand.
Yeah, those self-sealing stem bolts were defective and just flew right off the back.
Tim, what do you think? Are we getting more love triangle, or are we getting a space adventure? And which one would you like to see?
Dance off, bro. No. I'm hoping for more space adventure. It better be space.
Dance off.
I think you called it, dude. It is definitely going to be a dance off. I think you're right.
Yeah. No, I'm hoping for more space adventure. The last couple episodes have been fantastic, and I think, you know, there's always going, in my opinion, when it comes to Star Trek, there's always going to be these filler episodes that are kind of, to use the expression from Doctor Who, a little wibbly wobbly, timey wimey, kind of jump all over the place and do whatever. But the nuts and bolts of it is it's a science fiction show. So I'm hoping that we're going to stay on this trajectory where we are right now that leads us up into, you know, getting to the point where we see the disembarking of Pike and whatever happens with him and gets him to the point where he's just, you know, blinking and pushing buttons and motorized chairs. But yeah, I'm hoping for more of the same, because if we have another episode like the holodeck episode, I'm throwing a remote at the TV. So.
Well, yeah. Dance off. I would like it to be Corby and Spock.
Together? Them dancing together? Or versus each other? I'm trying to understand.
Versus each other.
Okay, they're not like both doing the tango. Like.
Oh,
they're
you
doing
know
the
what? I
they're
changed
doing
my
the
mind.
lambada, the
I
forbidden
went Corby and
dance.
Spock. They're dancing, doing the tango together. The waltz.
I wonder who's
actually.
lead and who's second.
They probably fight over it. That's the point.
Yeah.
I would love to see an argument between them two about who needs the lead, and Spock explaining why it'd be practical for the Vulcan to lead. I'm all down for that.
He's like, my superior strength and intellect. And,
it's only logical.
It's only logical that I be the lead. Who else could carry you into the air like me?
Wow. Yep. Well, we've gone off the rails. Thank you, everybody.
Completely.
For being here. And to wrap it up, let's again know where folks can find you. Drew, you go first.
Listen, Couch Soup. I got a mug. It says it right here, Couch Soup. If you're listening on a podcast.
I got a mug.
I got a mug. Check it out.
I carried a watermelon
mug. Yeah, you can get this online at couchsoup.com. This mug, this fancy mug I got here, that I was drinking my soda water out of. Yeah, come check it out. Couchsoup.com.
Soda water.
You're gonna yes.
This
Ding,
is also
ding.
soda water.
You're gonna have a good time. It's nerds like us, nerding out all the time, writing nerd articles, doing nerd podcasts, and talking nerdy to each other. And
Giggity.
sometimes dirty, if you're into that kind of thing. But yeah, you can find me there. I kind of run the show, and that's all I got this episode. I'm just gonna soft sell it and
Cool.
go buy a
Nerds,
mug.
the nerds.
Go
What
buy a
about you,
mug.
Tim?
Hi, I'm Tim. Oh,
All
there's
right.
more. Okay, yeah, no. So I'm a contributor here at Couch Soup, and I write some articles here and there, and I show up on podcasts like this one here and there.
Occasionally.
But I'm also the host of the FSF Podcast. It's a nerdy interview show, and we've interviewed a bunch of folks from Star Trek. Come check us out. Matter of fact, the person who composed the music for these fine episodes, Nami Malamud, has been on my show. She's fantastic. Go check that out. Nami is amazing. Anyway, but yeah, at FSF Podcast and all your nerd socials, come watch us on YouTube. Have some fun with us. And we're going to point you back at Couch Soup, because in my notes down below, you can read my articles. There's a little link there. And go spend some time on Couch Soup. It's lots of fun.
It is a lot of fun. And I am also at Couch Soup, obviously. I'm the community manager. I write the weekly newsletters. I host podcasts. I write articles. I have a great time. I make sure everybody has a good time at the AMAs and the Zooms that I need to schedule for this month. And it's already the middle of the month. So you can see how things are going. But yeah, come see us at Couch Soup. What?
The American Music Awards? Is that where we're going? The AMAs?
Yes.
Never mind. I'll shut up
Yes.
Yes.
Anyway.
Michelle's like, I'm trying to sign off. Shut up.
You guys already know my brain is spaced out. So, hey, space, look at me bringing it back. That's it for now. Let's continue to discover new life, new civilizations, and we will initiate shutdown sequence from here. Live long and prosper.
Boom.
And keep it tuned into Couch Soup for more Star Trek goodness.
Awesome.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
Thanks, everybody.